Hello everyone, my name is Angel and I'd like to welcome you guys to WellSky Home Health PTG webinar for clinicians here. I want to go ahead and cover quite a bit of information today within our training within PTG here. So at the end of this session, we will be able to understand the concepts of progress to goals, assign goals and interventions to a patient, manage interventions for a patient, document progress towards goals for a patient as well within our clinical document here. So we'll cover quite a bit of information here. But first of all, what is progress to goals, PTG? It is an advanced documentation and care planning feature that allows agencies to document and task patient progress using a goals and intervention dashboard. Also allows you to choose from a pre-existing library from goals and interventions. And it allows for custom goals and intervention creation for measurable progress reporting here. So it does have quite a few things, and it also helps meet conditions of participation challenges. So let's go ahead and jump into the system and show you some of the few topics that we're going to be talking about today within our clinical webinar here. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my page here. And we're currently within our hotbox here. Our hotbox, again, is where all tasks have been assigned to us. The first thing I do want to go ahead and jump into is our Oasis C2 Starter Care here for Betty here. So I want to go ahead and show you how to add those goals and interventions to a patient within your assessment here. And then we'll go ahead and trickle down from our routine visits here and our orders as well. All right, so to start adding goals and interventions to our patient, we first need to go ahead and jump into our assessment, which is our Oasis C2 Starter Care. So once we jump into our Oasis, it's automatically going to open up our table of contents. Now, to add any documentation or jump into any specific page within our Oasis, we must first enter our time in and visit date. So we need to jump into our demographics page here, which is our first page within our table of contents. All right, so we must add a time in and visit date here to actually jump into some of those sections within our Oasis here as far as goals and interventions. Now, to submit your documentation, you must have your time in, time out, and visit date, all of that information. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down towards the bottom and simply select Save and Continue, which will allow us to go from page to page within our Oasis. Now, if I do go ahead and scroll down towards the bottom of this page, because we're currently under our patient history and diagnosis, I'm going to go ahead and select Save and Continue once again. Once I do select Save and Continue, it's going to throw us to our first page where it will allow us to add those goals and interventions, which is our risk assessment page. Again, to access that, you can simply select Edit on that toolbar and select Risk Assessment. Or you can jump under File and Oasis menu, and it'll throw you back into that table of contents here. All right, but we're going to go ahead and scroll down towards the bottom under our risk assessment page, since it is the first page where it's going to allow us to enter those goals and interventions. I also do want to go ahead and point out that this section is pink. It is pink. For those of you who are familiar with our Oasis, our pink sections automatically pull over to our plan of care, which is our 485. All right, so it automatically flows over to our plan of care once those goals and interventions have been added. All right, but we're going to go ahead and add these goals and interventions to our patient at this time here. So we're going to go ahead and select Go to Goals and Interventions. Once we select that specific item, it's automatically going to throw us in our progress to goals for Betty here. Right underneath our patient's name, we do see unmet, met, and not obtained. Since we currently have not added any goals to this patient, they're all listed at 0 here, listed at 0. Right underneath that, we do have no skilled nurse goals and interventions have been assigned to this patient. But we can go ahead and do that by simply selecting New Goals. New Goal. Once we select New Goals, we'll have the ability to actually add goals and interventions to our patient. All right, but if we do need to return back into our assessment, we can simply select that return option and it'll kick us back into our risk assessment page we were previously on. But we want to go ahead and add goals to our patient at this time. So again, by doing that, we'll simply select New Goals. Refresh your memory that we did jump into an Oasis C2 Starter Care for skilled nursing. So the only items that we will see within this list here are skilled nursing goals here. So if you notice to the far left-hand side, in parentheses, you do see SN for skilled nursing. But before I jump into this list here, I do want to go ahead and point out what's listed up at the top here. Choose a goal or goals or a free text. All right. So I do want to go ahead and point out some of the features that you currently do see on this page here. First one is select problem types. All right. If you're administrative staff, that's select the problem types for each goals. You do have the ability to filter out by problem types here. All right. So if you're looking for a pain goal, you can simply select pain, and all of your pain goals are going to populate towards the top of that list. Now, if you already know what goal you're currently looking for, you can simply search for that goal, and it's going to populate towards the top of that list as well. All right. Now, down below, we do have all of our goals that are listed for us to select from. Since we are skilled nurses, or under an OASIS C2 starter care for OASIS for skilled nursing, we'll only see skilled nursing OASIS here. Goals here. Now, if you do notice to the far right-hand side, if there were any interventions tied to those specific goals, you'll have the ability to see that. So the first goal here currently has 2 interventions attached to it. All right, so it does let you know how many interventions are currently tied to it. Now, if you're scrolling down through this list here and don't find that specific goal that you are looking for, at the very bottom, you do have this use free text option here. This is going to allow you to manually type in that goal for that patient here, for that patient. Now, you do have the ability within this list to select all those goals that are necessary for that patient here, or you can go from page to page within your assessment here. You do have the ability to select all that apply at once. Now, if you've accidentally selected too many, you can go ahead and deselect if you do wish to as well. All right, so you do have those options when adding those goals to your patient. Now, once you've selected the appropriate goals within this drop-down list here, you do have the ability to select continue. Once we select continue, it's going to populate all those goals that we've currently selected here. Now, each goal does have a series of questions to answer before we can actually assign them. Just because we've selected those goals doesn't mean that we've currently assigned those goals here. All right, so we're still at 0 on unmet here. Our first question is target date for meeting goal here. So what is that target date where this patient's going to meet this goal here, or predicted to meet this goal? You do have the ability to select that calendar, and the only dates that are going to apply within this calendar are those 60 days within that patient's episode. So this episode currently starts on November 19th. If we continue with our calendar here, it's going to let us know that it ends on January 17th, 2019. All right. So you do have the option to select from the calendar. Now, you also do have this option as well, by the end of episode. So if we do select that checkbox here, by end of episode, your end date automatically populates for you. All right, automatically populates for you. You do have your long-term goal and short-term goal options to select from here. You can only select one of those options. And down below, you do have instructions that were provided from your agency's administrative staff. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and fill those out. Now, they must be filled out, because if you just simply select assign, it's not going to let you assign that specific goal until you fill out those instructions here. So you must enter those instructions here. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that date that it is asking me for here, or whatever that instruction is provided you to fill in here. Once you've entered that information, you can simply select assign. Once you select assign, you'll notice that our unmet has changed to 1. We've currently assigned a goal to our patient here at this point here. Now, you do have 2 other goals that we did select, so we want to make sure that we do fill out this appropriate information here. Now, if we've accidentally selected too many goals, and as we're reviewing and find out that that goal is not needed for this patient, you do have the ability to select cancel. That cancel option right next to assign. So if we do select cancel, that goal automatically falls off. No need to fill out that information if we've accidentally assigned that goal incorrectly here. But we do want to go ahead and fill out this information here. So we do have the option to select a date from the calendar, long-term or short-term goal. We want to make sure that we do fill out the instructions as well. So we do have some instructions that we need to complete here. Wounds will decrease in size by want to go ahead and enter our text and enter our date here. Maybe we'll go ahead and say from 2 inches to 1 inch. And what is it going to decrease in size by? We want to go ahead and enter the date. So let's go ahead and enter our date for those instructions here. And then simply select assign. Once we select assign, now we have 2 unmet goals here. 2 unmet goals here. All right. So from here, we do have the ability to add additional goals by simply selecting new goals. Now, each of our goals do need interventions to them as well. So we want to go ahead and tie interventions to them at this point here. So for each goal, you will see new interventions here. New interventions, letting us know that we have to tie interventions to those goals here. So once we do select new interventions, a list of all of our interventions are going to display. But since we are skilled nurses, we want to go ahead and search only for skilled nursing interventions. So I simply typed in SN here. All right, for skilled nursing. We do have the ability to select the appropriate interventions as needed here and simply select continue once we've selected all the appropriate interventions for that goal. So once we do select continue, we want to make sure that we do fill out anything that is necessary here. But since these two do not have any instructions, we can simply select assign. Now, if we've added too many accidentally, we can hit cancel just as we did for our goals and they automatically fall off. But we're going to go ahead and assign this intervention as well. Now, if you do notice, our interventions have folders located to the left of them here, to the left of them, letting you know how many times they've actually been performed. Since we're just adding these, they haven't been performed just yet, so they all state 0. Once you start performing on these interventions, these numbers will change as you go through the patient's care. Now, if you've accidentally added that intervention incorrectly, you do have that little trash can where you do have the ability to remove them as well. All right, but we do have one additional goal that we need to tie interventions to, so let's go ahead and do that. So if we do select new interventions on the far right-hand side of that goal, this is going to populate the list of interventions as we saw previously. Let's say that intervention is currently not listed within this list. We do have that use free text option here. So if we do select use free text, it's going to open up a text box allowing us to manually enter our interventions. So again, this is going to allow us to enter our intervention for patient here. All right, so we do have the ability to manually type out our intervention and simply select assign. Now, once we select assign, our intervention is currently typed in there. All right, I do want to go ahead and point out, since we use that free text option, you will see in parentheses FT, letting yourself know, anyone else that's tied to that patient, that it was a free text option here, all right, a free text intervention. You do have the ability to do the same for your goals. So if we do select new goal up at the top right-hand side, again, you do have that use free text option here. I do want to go ahead and point out, since we've already assigned specific goals to this patient, you will notice already assigned to patient, letting you know that those specific goals have been tied to that patient at this point. So no need to duplicate those goals. So again, if that goal is not listed within this list here, we do have the ability to use that free text option. Again, that date's going to appear. This date's always going to appear for all your goals. Target date for meeting goal. You can select your calendar or by end of episode, short-term or long-term goal, and add your patient's goal. So you have the ability to manually type in that goal and select assign. Just as we saw in our intervention, that FT, you will see that FT for your goal as well, letting everyone know that has the ability to access this patient's chart that it was a free text goal. Now, if you find yourself using that FT goal quite often, I do highly recommend reaching out to your agency's administrative staff so that they have the ability to add it within that drop-down list. All right? But again, since we've added this goal, we want to make sure that we do add an intervention. All right? So that new intervention option will always appear for all of your goals if there's currently no interventions tied to them. So again, I'm going to go ahead and type in SN, to locate our skilled nursing interventions, select the appropriate intervention, and simply select continue. Once we select continue, our intervention populates, so we can go ahead and fill out the appropriate instructions if needed, or we can simply select assign, and our intervention has been tied to that goal here. So at this point, we've added goals by simply selecting that new goal option. Added interventions, our new intervention option is listed there for us here as well on the far right-hand side of each goal. You do have the ability to remove an intervention if it was accidentally added by selecting that little trash can here. Once you do select that trash can, you will receive this notification. Are you sure you want to remove the intervention? This action cannot be undone. Please confirm to continue. So if you do wish to remove it, you can simply select continue. If not, you can simply select cancel, and that intervention remains. Now, if you accidentally added the incorrect goal while reviewing this information, you can select that little update option, which will be available for all of your goals. Once we select that update option, you will have remove goal. Remove goal. This is going to allow you to remove a specific goal within this list here. Now, I also do want to point out another feature within this list here. Now, if you were working in an OASIS recertification, you do have the ability to push goal to next episode. So that is going to be an option as well. So if this was a recert that was added in your start of care and you wish to continue this goal, you can go ahead and push goal to next episode. So that it does flow over. Now, it does not push every single goal, only that specific goal that you do select update for. Now, if we do need to return back to our assessment, we do have that option by simply selecting return at the bottom right-hand side. All right, but I do want to go ahead and point out that we've assigned 3 specific goals at this point. We currently have them at unmet. All right, so once we do select return, it kicks us back into our risk assessment page within our OASIS. Now, I do want to go ahead and save this information. So by doing that, we do have the option of scrolling down towards the bottom and selecting save or save and continue. Once again, since this is a pink section, this automatically flows over to your plan of care, your 485. So if we do select save and continue, it'll continue us with our assessment here. But I do want to go ahead and point out 2 pages within our OASIS. So if I do select edit, scroll down towards my medication section, our medication section. Within our medication section, you do have the ability to scroll down towards the bottom and add goals and interventions within this section. Now, there's several pages within your OASIS where you'll have the ability to add goals and interventions. The reason I want to go ahead and point this one out, because our medication page does allow you to review all the goals and interventions that you've added throughout your assessment. Now, if you do wish to make modifications or add additional goals, you do have the ability to select Go to Goals and Interventions. Once you do so, any goals that we've added previously are going to display here. So you do have your 3 unmet. You have the ability to assign new goals as well. You can review each goal individually if you wish to by selecting that plus sign on the far left-hand side, which will open up for you. Or you have the ability to expand all. If you do select expand all of your goals and interventions are going to populate for you. So you do have the ability to check them out. You can remove those interventions, add additional interventions as well, or you can simply select that update option, remove the goal if needed, and again, if you were working on a recertification, you can simply push goal to next episode if needed. But let's say I'm not going to add any goals. All my goals have been added as well as interventions. I can simply select return, kicks me back into my medication page. Now, the next page I do want to go ahead and show you within our OASIS is our orders for discipline and treatment. All right, so if I do select that option and scroll down towards the very bottom, since this is the last page of my OASIS, I will have the ability to review all goals and interventions that I have added throughout my patient's OASIS here. All right, so I do have the ability to review my goals as well as my interventions here. All right, now I do want to go ahead and point out that you don't have the ability to make modifications within these pages, but if you do need to, you do have the ability to scroll up back towards the top, select that toolbar, edit option, and jump into any of these appropriate items where you have the ability to enter those goals and intervention here. All right, so that's how we'll currently add those goals and interventions within our assessment here. Now, once those goals and interventions have been added, let's say our OASIS is finally complete, we can go ahead and save and go to menu. Again, we'll have the appropriate steps as clinicians to review our OASIS checks, check any other specific tools that may have been available for you, electronically sign, and send it out to QA. So let's say all that's taken place. I want to go ahead and jump into my hotbox. By doing so, I'll simply select Go To on my toolbar here and jump into my hotbox here. All right. Since we were working on Betty here, Williams, I'm going to go ahead and type in her name so we can go ahead and populate her visit here. So we do have a skilled nursing note. Since those goals and interventions have been added within my OASIS here, I'm going to go ahead and jump into my skilled nursing visit here for my patient. Okay, so I do want to go ahead and let you guys know that a time in and visit date is needed so that you do have the ability to jump into specific pages within your skilled nursing note and save them appropriately. So we are going to go ahead and scroll down towards our goals and intervention section here, which is listed towards the bottom mid of the page here. So if we do select Go To Goals and Interventions, since there were quite a few goals added within the OASIS, they will automatically pull over to our routine visits. So we are currently under our skilled nursing note. So progress to goals, we are under our patient's name. We currently have 3 unmet goals. We do have the ability to expand individually here by selecting that plus sign, or we can simply select Expand All, and it opens up all goals and interventions. Now, let's say you need to perform on an intervention for this patient. We can simply select that green button here, Perform. All right, we can simply select that Performed option. If you do notice, that little trash can is not listed there for you, so you cannot remove those specific interventions. You can only mark them as completed. But we want to go ahead and perform on an intervention since that's what we jumped in to our goals and interventions for. So we're going to go ahead and select our green option here, which is Perform. Performed on, you do have your patient and caregiver to select from. But if you guys do recall, these are checkboxes. So you do have the ability to select both if needed. You also do have your results section. So if we do select that drop down, your options are verbalized understanding, return demonstrations, and needs reinforcements. So once you select one of those options, you do have the ability to document your notes here. All right. I know it does state optional, but I do highly recommend that you do enter your notes so that everyone is aware why you actually performed that intervention. So you want to make sure that you do add your notes. All right. And simply select Submit. Once you hit Submit, you have 2 options to view that information once again. You have the ability to select that little folder. If you do notice, it changed from a 0 to a 1. So if we do select that little folder icon, it's automatically going to open up the information that we just added. Now, if you do need to make modifications to that specific notes that you've added here, you can go ahead and select the pencil icon here. Once you select that pencil icon, it's automatically going to open up for you. Select the appropriate options on Performed on or both. Change your result option if needed, or add your additional notes here and simply select Submit. Okay, now if this intervention was completed on this specific visit, you do have the ability to select Intervention Completed. Once you select Intervention Completed, you will receive a notification as well. Marking this intervention as completed will inactivate the intervention. A discontinued order will not be created. This action cannot be undone. Do you wish to continue? So you do have the ability to mark it as completed or select Cancel, and it does remain within that patient's episode until it is completed here. All right. So that's how you'll go ahead and perform on your interventions here. It does provide you a target date as well, and the initial date it was scheduled on here. All right. Now you do have the ability to document progress on your goals. So by doing that, you can simply select that drop down. You do have several options to select from. You do have improving, decline, unchanged, or a specific percentage. Once you select those options, they'll automatically open up, and you do have the ability to enter your goal progress notes. It does state optional, but again, you want to make sure that you do enter your notes so that everyone knows why you actually documented progress on that goal. Once you select Submit, your notes will be saved in there. You do have the ability to make modifications as needed by selecting that pencil icon. Opens up and you can make those changes as needed. Or you can simply just view it by selecting that plus sign on the far left-hand side. Once we select that plus sign, you'll have the ability to view your notes that you've entered within your goal here. You also do have the ability to check out your intervention options as well. Now, if this is the only goal and intervention that we are going to be documenting on for the specific visit, we do have the ability to scroll down and return back to our options. But before we leave this page, I do want to go ahead and point out we do have that update option for you as well. So if you do select that update option, you do have several selections. You do have goal met, which you will have the ability to meet that goal if that patient has completed that goal and it automatically falls under met. You can push that goal to not obtainable, which will then be pushed under the not attainable tab. Now, for some reason, you do need to modify some options here. You do have that option if that role has been provided for you. Again, that role is modify goals and interventions if that role has been provided for you. Okay, so you do have several options under met. Again, if that goal was met, you can simply select goal met. You will receive a notification as well. Marking this goal as met will inactivate the goal and move the goal to the met tab. In addition, any active interventions associated with the goal will be marked as completed. This action cannot be undone. Do you wish to continue? So if you do wish to meet that goal, you do have that ability to do so here by selecting continue. Now, let's say that goal was a short-term goal and you wanted to actually meet that goal. So if we do select continue, that goal is no longer listed as unmet. If you do notice, we currently only have 2 instead of 3. And it has been pushed over to the Met tab. So we've met one specific goal. So if we do select that Met tab, we do have the ability to expand all. Once we do so, you'll notice those options to document progress or perform on intervention are not available for us. We're only able to view those options here. We cannot make any changes whatsoever within this goal or intervention. So if we do go back under our Met tab, and let's say we expand this information, we realize that our patient needs additional goals as we're going through their episode here. So if they do need additional goals, you don't have the ability to actually add them within your skilled nursing notes here. You don't see that new goal option or new intervention option. An order must be created to actually add goals and interventions. So if we do jump back up on that toolbar and select File, we must create an order to add those goals or interventions. All right, so if we are currently under our skilled nursing note here, and we know we need to add additional goals and interventions, we must create an order. So once we do select File, New, and Order, we'll have the ability to add goals and interventions. All right, the only ones that can actually add goals and interventions are skilled nurses, physical therapists, occupational therapists, and speech therapists. All right, those are the only ones that can actually add goals or interventions. Now, once we create our order here, we want to make sure that we do assign it to the appropriate, to yourself here. Make sure that you are assigning that order to yourself here. If you do have any templates to select from, you do have the ability to do so, but you can go ahead and add within your text file here. So let's say we're going to add a goal here. You'll enter your appropriate information in that text field. You want to make sure that you do enter your order summary here. I'm going to go ahead and enter add goal, since we're going to be adding a goal, and simply add our order. Once we do select add order, this is going to open up for us here. First thing we must do here is select our discipline. Since we are skilled nurses, I want to make sure that we do select skilled nurse. Since I'm a skilled nurse, we want to make sure that we do select skilled nurse, and then select Go to Goals or Interventions. Once we do select Go to Goals or Interventions, all the goals that have currently been assigned to that patient will be listed here. So you'll have the ability to view all your unmet goals and your met goals here as well. Now, if you do notice, our new goal option appears here. So we do have the ability to add goals here. Now, if we do select Expand All, we do have the ability to view our information for these goals. And guess what? We have the option to add new interventions as well. So these options do open up for you once you create your order. So let's go ahead and add a new goal here. Once we open that up, you will have the ability to select from problem types. You'll have the option to search for that specific goal. And then you'll have the list of all of your goals down below. Anything that has already been assigned will automatically state that on the far right-hand side. So you will see already assigned to patient. No need to duplicate that specific goal. Right? Now, if that goal is not listed, you do have that use free text option here as well. Okay? So let's say we're going to use that free text option. It's not listed. We want to make sure that we do enter our target date for patient meeting that goal here. Let's say by end of episode, long-term goal, and we can simply just add our patient's goal. All right, and assign. Now, since we've added the goal, we want to make sure that we do add our interventions as well. All right, so once we do select new intervention, we'll have the free text option, but we can go ahead and filter out and locate our skilled nursing interventions if needed. Find out that that's the intervention we need. We can go ahead and select continue, fill out appropriate information if it is required, but we can go ahead and simply select assign. And now our unmet is currently at 3 here since we added one. We still have that met goal listed under met. Now, if that's all we need to add, we can simply select return. Once we select return, that information is going to be listed within our order. We do have the ability to review our order text or add additional information, add our summary, electronically signed, and submit here. All right. Now, once we electronically sign and submit, it goes to QA. It automatically goes to QA here. Now, if we do jump back into our skilled nursing visit note here, we do have the ability to scroll down to our goals and intervention section, view what was currently added within our visit note here. We can go ahead and go to goals and interventions. Now, if you guys recall, we did create that order. That order, let's say, has been approved. Once it's been approved here, you do see that goal that was added here. We do have 3 unmet and 1 at met. We do have the ability to document on that order or that goal that we just added within that order here, as well as that intervention. If you do so, we can go ahead and perform on that specific task itself. You do have the ability to view that met tab, expand all, and view your information. Jump back into your unmet and document as needed. But let's say everything has been documented on, we can go ahead and select return. Once that information has been added, you'll see it within your goals and intervention section, electronically sign and submit, or you can simply save and complete your note at a later time that day. So that's how you currently perform on your goals and interventions within your skilled nursing note here. Now, at this point, we should be able to understand the concept of progress to goals, assign goals and interventions to a patient, manage interventions for a patient, document progress towards our goals for that patient as well.